Welcome to ESL TV. Today we bring you all the, live coverage really of the draw for the Intel Extreme Masters Continental Finals of Europe. Of course, we've already seen the Continental Finals in other continents, but today we of course come to Europe. Joining me here is the Director of League Operations for the ESL and a familiar face on ESL TV, Bashi. How are you doing?
Oh, good. How are you? I'm
very good, thank you. Very good. Excited to see the teams that we're going to have coming up today. So before we really break down today's draw, why don't you just give us a bit of an overview to the people that don't know of how the Intel Extreme Masters works and how people have got to this stage.
Right, so going to the very beginning, let's say each and every country in Europe had an ESL Pro Series or local qualifier to determine the best local teams from every territory for the main round. And then basically we had a few qualification rounds and ended up with the main round with 4 groups of 6 teams each. The top 2 teams qualified directly for the CBIT finals, the Continental Finals of Europe. And then we had a relegation with the 3rd and the 4th place of every group playing each other. So that was like A3 playing B4 and things like that. So we got another 4 teams out of that, which means we have in total 12 teams now. And now we'll basically draw the groups for the Continental Finals, consisting of 2 groups of 6 teams. We'll have 2 group winners in every group, 2 second places in every group, and 2 relegation winners in every group. And one restriction we have is that no more than 2 countries are able to be in one group. Since we have like 4 Swedish teams, 3 German teams, we just want to make sure that we don't have a group of Giants, Blank, Fnatic, SK. Wouldn't be very interesting for anybody.
So what about the main round itself? Were there any surprises in there for you? Teams that didn't qualify that you thought should have, or teams that maybe shouldn't have that did?
Well, I would say a big surprise was obviously Fnatic struggling pretty badly. I mean, they had a really rough start, lost the first 2 or 3 matches even, and barely made it through the relegation even in 3 maps. So that was, I think, quite an upset since they were among the favorites before the season. Other than that, I think Virtus.pro or Gameplay are probably small upsets since people would have expected these 2 teams probably in the finals as well. But I think overall the favorites came out on top. I mean, SK and MTW, for example, and Mousesports, they went through undefeated. And so I think we really do have the current 12 best teams of Europe in place here now. And I'm really looking forward to the Continental Finals.
So let's take a quick look then at the actual pools. We've got 3 groups of teams, 3 seeds, a high seed, a mid seed, and a low seed. So we'll start off by looking at the high seeds, the teams that did really, really well throughout that main round with Pool 1, of course, and then some from Denmark. They, again, were completely undefeated in their group. SK Gaming, likewise. Then we have, of course, Mousesports from Germany, the winners of the Intel Extreme Masters Continental Challenge in Dubai. And then, of course, MTW, a team which a lot of people say are the current #1 in the world.
Yeah, those are definitely, let's say, all top 5 in the world, maybe except for and then some who were a little upset, I would say, in that group beating MYM, for example.
Yeah, so let's have a look at Group 2, or Pool 2, the mid-seeds. It starts off with Meet Your Makers, a team, again, that have been kind of struggling recently to make the grade, but they're here in this mid-seed and will be looking to pull their results back on track. Then we have N Faculty, the surprise German team, really, that managed to finish in 2nd place in their group, which was Group A. And then we have Giants, of course, from Sweden, an up-and-coming team. We'll have to see how they get on without Get Right, who, of course, went to Fnatic, and then the final team of Blank. So 2 Swedish teams in there. Really interesting to see if they actually, group up together and we see some sort of national battle going on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have 2 Swedish teams in every group, so it's just a matter of who's playing who. But I think they're all really looking forward to play each other.
Yeah, and then last, but of course, by no means least, we have Pool 3, the low seeds, which you could be kind of forgiven to thinking this was the mid or even the high seed table. We have Alternate from Germany, who qualified, beating Hooray in the relegation. Then Fnatic, who, as Bashi said, struggled early on in the tournament. Then Emulate, an old World Cyber Games winner that, again, just scraped through the relegation. Then their French counterparts, Millennium, they won the EPS in France just last weekend. So they could be one of the surprise packages of the tournament.
Yeah, indeed. I think Millennium's probably the team that people would have expected the least to be in the finals before the season. So they are definitely the upset of the season so far, I would say.
So how's the draw going to work, Bashi? Obviously, we have these 3 groups of 4 teams, and we have to put them into 2 groups.
Right. We'll start with the low pool, which means basically the first team that will draw is going to be in Group A, the second team is going to Group B, and the third team to Group A, and the last team to Group B. Then we'll do the same with the mid pool and the same with the high pool. And yeah, in case we notice that a team is drawn into a group where it's not allowed to be in, we will just directly put it into the other group and draw the next team.
Okay, so without further ado, the lovely Samantha is going to be helping us out here with the draw, and she'll be drawing first of all from the low seed group, Pool 3, which of course is Alternate, Fnatic, Emulate and Millennium. So let's see which team will come out first in Group A from the low seeds. Interesting to see how these French teams are separated. Of course, they can end up in the same group, and it will be one of the French teams first. Millennium, as Bashi said, one of the surprise packages of this tournament. They really shocked a lot of people to get there.
Oh, indeed. I think their winning over Virtus.pro was pretty unexpected, I would say. I mean, Virtus.pro has always been top 8 in Europe, I would say, for the last 3 to 5 years. So I think the Russian guys are really, really disappointed now and probably really eager to strike back next season.
So that's Millennium then, the first team in Group A. Let's have a look and see who's going to be the first team in Group B. Of course, we still have Emulate, Fnatic and Alternate to be picked out. And it will be the German team of Alternate. So they go into Group B. It leaves us with Emulate and Fnatic. But Alternate over there, do you think Millennium will be happy to avoid Alternate in their group?
I think they would be more happy to avoid Fnatic, but we'll see. Maybe they will succeed and get a rematch against Emulate.
Yeah, we can certainly tell that now as we come to the third team and the second team in Group A as well. Millennium already in there. Let's see if we will get that French matchup of Emulate versus Millennium. And it will be Fnatic. So Fnatic going to Group A with Millennium. And of course that will leave Emulate to go over to Group B as well with the German team Alternate. So is that kind of a balanced start, do you think, to the groups?
I would say so. If you consider that Emulate is supposed to be stronger than Millennium in general, let's say, looking back in the past 12 to 24 months, even though Millennium beat them recently, I think the French teams are probably about the same level. Fnatic's probably a little stronger than Alternate, on paper at least. So I think so far we are quite balanced, but let's see if that continues or not.
Yeah, and of course the final team, if you're wondering why we only drew 3 balls, the final team will of course be Emulate, the last one out of the pot. So, as we said, that sets us up with already Group A with Millennium and Fnatic, Group B with Alternate and Emulate. Now, of course, we go over to the mid-seeds, Pool 2, which includes Meet Your Makers, N-Faculty, Giants and Blank. So 2 Swedish teams in there. One of them will, of course, go over to play Fnatic. And we've already seen some games between them, local qualifiers for different events, where Fnatic and even SK was shocked by a couple of these teams.
Yeah, indeed. They are all really close, and I think Sweden has some really, really strong teams now. I mean, in the past it's always been SK, Fnatic, big gap, and then some other teams. And Giants and Blank really proved in the past 6 months that they're getting closer and closer to these guys. For example, also eliminating SK from the Pro Series finals in Scandinavia was also an upset that Giants was highly involved on. So yeah, I think these teams are really, really upcoming rising stars.